am Glaucia Rosas, co-founder and director at the EduTec Alliance. In this series of interviews, I am talking with key figures on the international EduTech scene to get their perspectives on how schools can really get themselves on track with their education technology. Hi, everyone. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Colin Bell, the distinguished CEO of COBIS, the the Council of British International Schools, to our interview series. So today's conversation promises to offer valuable insights into the evolving landscape of British international education, with a keen focus on the transformative role of technology and artificial intelligence. Just before we start, it's worth noting that our organization, the EduTec Alliance, has had the privilege of working closely with COBIS over the past 18 months on both the design and implementation of their digital transformation program, which has recently gone live. So this transformation was enterprise-wide and includes new platforms that support COBIS internal operations, as well as their vital quality assurance activities with their member schools. While this is not the topic of this discussion, it's a noteworthy achievement that underscores the forward-thinking approach of COBIS in embracing technology to achieve their mission. So now let's delve into the conversation. Hello, Colin. Thank you so much for participating in this.
Oh, no, my pleasure, Glaucia. And it's always a true privilege to catch up with our good friends at the EduTec Alliance.
Fantastic. So let's start with, well, we were just talking about the quality assurance. So quality is a crucial aspect of British international education, as we know. So could you elaborate on how COBIS is leveraging technology to enhance the quality assurance activities that it performs with its member schools and what benefits it brings to schools?
Yeah, oh gosh, that's a great question to start with, but I'm really pleased that you've recognized clearly that COBIS and British education, definitely quality, safeguarding, are the key foundations of what we offer. So for our accreditation scheme, goodness me, we introduced it back in 2017, and we always had a really keen focus on it would be a service which would support schools with school improvement, and it would definitely give a quality experience for everyone connected to it. So since 2017, around about 250 schools have either completed or booked one of our quality assurance visits across 60 different countries. So, we're really pleased that it's established itself as a rigorous, non-judgmental process, which is, got school improvement deeply in its heart. So the whole process and scheme is based on collaboration. And we cannot have that collaboration and building of relationships without harnessing the best of digital technology. So it's fair to say that since 2017, we have changed our platform, and we've changed it to keep up with pace, with the time, with the requirements of the accreditation scheme, so that schools have an excellent experience. Our lead improvement partners do, our peer accreditors do, and COBIS accreditation team do as well. So, we recognize that each school visit is going to be unique because that reflects each school being unique. And that while we do adhere to a rigorous set of standards, the schools will input evidence at different times in different ways, some with video, some with photographic evidence, obviously documentation as well. So we've really worked hard to upgrade our system over the last 6 to 8 months. And we couldn't have done that without the EduTec Alliance, to be quite honest and to be quite frank, because you guys have helped us develop a whole new platform, the architecture, the background to it. And we've used MS Teams, and you have helped us create that space, which we know is importantly, it's a safe space for confidential information to be uploaded and stored and processed. We know that the platform as well and all the architecture behind it works, and it's consistent. And again, it provides that great customer or user experience. And we know that all the curation of evidence is easy to access, easy to track, and as I say, the relationship between all of the people who are involved in accreditation is very, very smooth. So I guess the final thing to say really as well about how we leverage technology is we think we're doing a good job. Okay. Feedback from schools is we're doing a good job, and yourselves have said that as well in terms of your review. But that wasn't enough really for us, because we are an organization that isn't complacent. So we commissioned an external review from an organization called a Quality Assurance Agency, based out of the UK, but with an international footprint. They had a seriously good look under our bonnet, and they looked at every single aspect of the accreditation scheme, including the tech behind it and how we manage all the data. And they said that it was clearly a fit for purpose platform that we're using, that it had the credibility from head teachers, from lead improvement partners, that it all worked, and it was a good experience for them. And the relationship management, the QAA identified as well, that was another key strength of the scheme. And we couldn't do that. It wouldn't be fit for purpose, as in using their words, unless the tech was leveraged correctly. I hope that gives a little bit of an overview. You can tell I'm really excited because we've invested a lot of time and a lot of our members' money in terms of getting this right. But again, we're not complacent. We're always looking for further improvements too.
Yes, and that leads perfectly to my next question. So you have experienced this, you have undergone a very comprehensive digital transformation journey, where you've witnessed it, not only the advantages, but also the intensity of such endeavor. So what insights could you share with school leaders who are considering embarking on their own digital transformation initiatives? What would you say are the major challenges they should anticipate?
Okay, major challenges. Now, I would be saying this to anybody if they were asking me the question, not just because it's your good self from EduTec Alliance, but seriously, the number one thing is finding the right partner. Because without the right partner, you cannot get it right, in my opinion. You cannot have the trust to ask the right questions and to, really understand what's required from the digital process. I always remember right at the very start, Glacier, yourself and James from EduTech Alliance talked to us about this, or you shared the story about Digital Happy Valley and how eventually, through a digital transformation process, we will all get there together. And at the time, it seemed like something way in the distant future. Will we ever get there? What's the road surface like to get there? Which direction is it? Because at the time with COBIS, we I guess, to be quite honest, we didn't have a single version of the truth, in the terms that we had different bits of data stored in different areas, different Excels, and we just wanted to get a real coherent single digital platform to utilize all our data for the benefit of our members. So we did kiss quite a few frogs in order to find our princess or prince or what have you. So yeah, the other things really, just briefly, I'd share is about it's understanding that the journey of digital transformation is a cultural one. Unless you get all your colleagues and your board and the people in the right place, in the right mindset, to go this together, it's a waste of time and a waste of money. You've got to really understand the motivation. Why on earth are you doing the transformation? What's the reasons? You've got to understand that obviously there will be bumps in the road. There will be some times when colleagues across the organization feel a bit overwhelmed. And that's kind of to be recognized right from the outset, that there will be these times. But again, with the right partners, you can clearly articulate to team members and to board members that the dangers of complacency and not moving ahead and not improving the systems and the processes, and clearly the risks of standing still. So, again, I'll go back to our relationship with yourselves. You helped us understand the audit. What on earth are we doing? Why do we want to do it? Is it the right thing to do? Who's going to benefit from it? What are the implications? Who will be affected? How will it will improve? How will it make our organization stronger and connectivity stronger with our members? And you helped us break everything down into project chunks as well, so that we had clear milestones. We knew when X was achieved, we could consider Y, and you just made it really digestible. And the support that you offered too, in terms of bringing along our team and our board as well, in terms of the training. I mean, goodness me, you put together so many like wonderful short videos, which were step by step, easy guides in terms of you know the steps that we were taking, and they were so helpful because they were in language that we could all understand as well, which is important. Budget, definitely, you got to get the right budget. You got to understand what the budget milestones are, keeping on track with spend. And again, you helped us with that. Um, and recognize as well that we can't underestimate change. It has such a massive impact. But you were brilliant. And Margaret Garrard, who led the digital transformation for us, our COO, was brilliant in terms of recognizing the wins along the way and the successes, and also recognizing that, you know, we didn't get everything right at every stage. Like, and small things that might have seemed like, oh no, you know, the project is there's something which we didn't foresee. They were things that we learned from every time, every step. And Margaret and yourselves were brilliant about articulating that to our team. So we never had any failures. We just had things that we learned from, and I truly believe that. And then finally, things in terms of communicating the project. We had excellent buy-in and top cover from our board, who effectively, we went to our board with a what's the word? An investment case, and they gave us the right level of challenge. You know, what's the spend for? What's the reason? How will it improve and strengthen the organization? And we kept regular communication with our board through our board sponsor for the project, David Tung from Doha College, who's again provided excellent support to us. But the board kept asking us the right questions, and I think that's important too. So you've got that, you know, dialogue, and similar to our accreditation scheme, operating in the culture of scrutiny, and that's absolutely fine for the right reasons. So I hope that's useful.
No, that's super was useful, and it's exactly that. I mean, you showed the depth of a real digital transformation, and it's really about asking many questions and getting all the answers, and digging very very deep until you have the right case, until you are sure of what you're doing. But what we've seen, and this is actually leading to my next question as well, it's clear that the digital transformation is not an easy task. But still, it's become common for schools to believe that they've completed their digital transformation simply because they've equipped themselves with various technologies in response to the pandemic. So having lots of tech does not equate to a genuine digital transformation. As you mentioned, it's a cultural change. And in some cases, I mean, all this technology can actually resemble a precarious Jenga tower of technology components. And now we have, you know, the added intricacies of AI. So I was going to ask, what guidance would you give to school leaders who might think the transformation is complete?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess again, it goes down to head teachers and their teams and the governing board, the ones that are really successful schools and continue to set high expectations of their students and themselves are not complacent, and they are always looking at the current systems they've got, the tech they're using, and they're making sure that the technology that they are using or planning to use aligns very, very closely with their educational goals as well, for the students and the school community, and that they're not just adopting new technology for the sake of it because it's bright and shiny and, you know, is really super. They're adopting it for the right reasons. Also, I suppose that the schools that are making sure that they provide the correct professional development for teachers and support staff to use the tech, and that they are also ensuring that when new things are introduced, that the pedagogical shifts are there, so that again, teachers have adapting new ways of teaching, and also are learning themselves so that they get the best out of it. Um, I suppose as well, the security and privacy, that's always going to be a key component as well, making sure that tech is used ethically and soundly. And that goes without saying. But also, the student are getting the right assessment through using this tech, and that the feedback is also there. So I guess thinking about the personalized learning really for students at the school, and it can really help with accessibility, inclusivity for learners of different neurodiversity as well.
Yes.
Um, what was the final bit to that question again?
No, because the thing is, we see that lots of, because of the pandemic, they,
Yeah,
equip themselves, lots of tech, and that's
yeah,
it make them feel that they've completed the digital
oh
transformation
yeah,
because they have lots of technology. When actually that's
yeah,
not a real digital transformation. It's just a lot of tech put together.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, so I think that's what I was thinking then is about like the infrastructure. So making sure that they've got the right tech support so that they're getting the best out of the technology and it's there for the long term as well. It's not just a new gimmick. And so um, yeah, I think that's important that they don't just buy it, use it, and then go on to the next thing as well. Make sure you've got a long-term usage for it.
Perfect. Yes. And now, I'm going to touch on some of the AI stuff, which is, just everywhere now. So
Yeah,
we just interviewed Olli-Pekka Heinonen from the IB, and also we've read many of the OECD latest reports, and it's
yeah,
very clear that the notion of this AI infused school is now an essential aspect of modern education. So, could you elaborate on COBIS perspectives regarding the challenges and opportunities associated with the integration of AI into education?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I know that like for our schools are fortunate in the sense that um, they've got the right infrastructure. There's connectivity, there are access to devices, and so that students in across COBIS schools can benefit from the AI and other tech. But as an organization, we're also acutely aware that there is inequity in terms of, for example, internet access. So w- our schools will be looking to support the United Nations development goals in terms of by 2030, internet access for all as a goal. And that's one of the things that many things I love about our organization and the schools across the network is that there is a radical generosity in terms of giving away, sharing good practice, and also helping to, support schools that haven't got as much resource as well. And you find that in many, many of the different communities where our schools are based. But challenges, I think, I'll kind of go back to that confidentiality and privacy, safeguarding clearly with access to AI that can provide opportunities for unsuitable people to access youngsters. Um, and so, yeah, I think that's one of the key areas and ethical use of AI. But there are many challenges, but also clearly there's loads and loads of opportunities. I touched on a few of them before, like the personalized learning. And for those diverse learning styles. I think that AI as well can provide such opportunity for efficiency of administration for teachers, which allows them more time to actually work with children in actual classroom teaching situation as opposed to the administration. There are loads of really cool data-driven insights that can support teachers, monitor and assess, and again, personalize the student experience.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think, the global collaboration that AI can provide is so exciting. Whether it's students interacting with other students from other parts of the world, or also just being able to go and experience, that school trip, that excursion to, for example, the Amazon rainforest, when you might actually be at school in Tokyo. So it's been widely reported, and COBIS is very excited about the introduction of AI for the right reasons, at the right pace, and also with the right ethical structure around it. But there are loads of companies, yourselves included, that work with COBIS. So again, I'll go back to what I said in maybe the second question. It's all
Yeah.
about finding the right partners, ones that you can trust as well.
Yes, that is true. Especially now, I think everything is AI here and AI there, and it's really hard to differentiate what's something that's which people or companies or whatever organizations are still learning about it or
Yeah.
are able to support already schools or organizations. And so what we see, there's nothing that really sure about AI in education. There's lots of expectations around it, but we see that with AI's rise, ongoing innovation is essential anyways, especially in education. We can clearly see this now. So how do you think associations like COBIS, but other associations of
Yeah.
connected to education, um, can aid schools in leveraging technology and data to drive this AI age?
Yeah, great question. And I guess it's another one of the key strengths and the things I really enjoy about COBIS and associations like ours is the connectivity and the fact that schools are so eager to learn from one another. And also, they're really proud to share good practice as well. For example, in our accreditation scheme, we have something called a beacon school status.
Mhm.
And that's when we find outstanding practice. It could be in safeguarding, governance, or harnessing technology. And those schools are then encouraged, and they share it widely with others across the network too. As an organization as well, and as a group of interconnected schools, there's a real will and a energy to respond to tech and to make sure that some schools that might be a little further behind on the journey are given the right information, and people, as I say again, repeat myself really, but sharing the experiences. And that could also be in terms of the professional development that teachers and students are offered, but also the professional development that governors need to receive as well to understand. Because as you'll appreciate, school budgets often investments and the like are signed off from that governance level as well. So, I've just talked there about resource collaboration as well. That's important. But if we look to the development of the curriculum, COBIS has already written open letters to the Secretary of State for Education in England. And I appreciate it didn't represent all our members, but it represented the majority of members in terms of how tech and AI can be better integrated into, a curriculum which represents current society and changes and developments in tech. We're also really keen to advocate for digital and data governance as well. So privacy, how tech's used in education settings, how information stored, analyzed, shared, how it's used basically. And I suppose that we and others have got access then to, I mentioned before, but good partners and tech companies that can be signposted to schools or can conduct research on behalf of COBIS and our schools. I think as well that in terms of that research piece, our schools will share with us that they're often, frequently approached by companies with trying to sell products or services, and they're like, which is great, but from our collective uh, membership, we're always happy to engage in pilots as well, and look and help uh, tech companies maybe introduce things and test out and assess how they're working as well. So I suppose globally, advocacy of policy and influence for different ministries of education and regulatory bodies. We're always happy to share our experience with them because it can be quite daunting as well for regulators to look at how tech is used in schools and the future roadmap for that. And then finally, I think that COBIS plays a good role in terms of communication with schools, whether they're state schools in other parts of the world or other types of international schools, and also with parents as well. We do quite a bit there in terms of supporting parents navigate and think about tech. And finally, really, it's about also continuing to talk to employers, universities, higher education, further education, apprenticeships, so that what's happening in schools is also uh, helping with that pathway to life after school. To provide that lifelong learning and also journey into, as I say, education and the world of work too.
Fabulous. I'm sure this is very beneficial to members, but especially to the students and the families. So just to wrap up now, like considering all this technological progress that we've been talking about and the
Yeah.
AI transformative power, what's your outlook for the future of British international education? What major shifts you foresee, and how will COBIS play a role in this emerging scenario?
Yeah, I think the the connectivity between students, I think, is really exciting. Um, Also, I guess the focus on skills for the future or skills for the now as well. I think in terms of navigating some cultural sensitivities as well across the world, and to make sure that tech is used. I've said it a few times already, but ethically,
Mhm.
soundly as well. I think there are some really interesting opportunities for our accreditation and the way that we quality assure schools. I mean, during the pandemic, for example, we didn't let the pandemic get in the way of quality assurance. We moved to virtual accreditation during that period. But if we look at the way that teaching and learning is delivered, I'm sure that looking into the horizon, there'll be more shared expertise. It could be, for example, teachers of physics, physics experts, professors of physics, you name it, who will be delivering lessons to multiple schools, multiple students at one time. So, how will COBIS look to uh, quality assure that type of
Mm.
teaching delivery as well? And it's something that doesn't phase us. We're really excited about working into the long term future with our schools and with the sector. So we're always going to be responsive, and that's what COBIS is well known for. So more partnerships, collaboration, and also the emphasis on well-being for students and staff. Again, so they don't feel overwhelmed and they feel supported, harnessing the best of these technologies, and yeah, it just provides better uh, learning environments for children of all abilities, all backgrounds. But again, with COBIS, I think it's important that we amplify this and we share what good practice we've got widely and far across, more than just our membership. Technology, as you'll know, knows no geographical borders, and nor does COBIS in its deep commitment to school improvement across a whole variety of different schools and educational settings. So being part of that ecosystem is very important to
Mhm.
us. And then I guess a final word as well is that we we're a really optimistic organization, and we're really realistic as well. And we yeah, we'll just remain committed to helping schools and students thrive. And that I always think is really exciting because the sun will never set on a school across the COBIS network, because with learning taking place in 80 odd countries around the world, at some stage in the 24-hour clock, there'll always be students accessing great education. And that's one of the things that is unique to our organization in terms of being a global supporter of high quality schools. So yeah, I think that's wrapped it up from my perspective. And yeah, so thank you. Back to your good self.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I am out of questions now for this time, but maybe I have many others for other interviews. I just wanted to thank you so much for sharing your ideas, your experience. It was great to learn about your thoughts and how COBIS is working in this, and evolving with education. Well, thank you so much, Colin.
Oh, no problem. And I just wanted to say again, as I did at the start, finding our partnership with the EduTec Alliance and yourselves and James and the rest of the team has just been so integral to the success of our digital transformation project. So, on behalf of myself, our team, our board, and our membership body, just thank you so much for all your expertise and your help as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.